Hello kids, we are here today to continue with our science lessons. This is your teacher, Uncle Ernesto. Last time we met, we talked about insects, and I believe after the lesson you learned a lot about insects. Today we are going to continue with the lesson insects, looking at some harmful and useful insects. Some of the insects we looked at last time, some are useful to us, some too are harmful to us. Before we go to that lesson, let's visit the homework you were given the last time. One, state 6 examples of insects. State 6 examples of insects. The first one on the screen is butterfly. We talked about ants, bee, mosquito. You see the cockroach, and then housefly. We have butterfly, ant, bee, mosquito, we have cockroach, and housefly. 2. Write down 4 features of an insect. Write down 4 features of an insect. The first feature is that insects have 6 legs. Insects have 6 legs. Another feature is that insects have 3 body parts. Insects have 3 body parts. We have the head, we have the thorax, the middle part, and we have the abdomen. So insects have 3 body parts. Some insects also have 2 wings to fly. So you can see the butterfly there flying. Then the fourth one is insects have antenna. Insects have antenna. And this, as you see on the screen, is the antenna. The 2 long poles on the head is called the antenna. And they normally use this as a sense organ. So this is the answer to question 2. And I believe you all had the 2 questions correct. Well done. Now, let's move to the objectives of today's lesson. The objectives for today's lesson. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to 1. State 2 useful insects. State 2 useful insects. And then 2. Mention 3 harmful insects. Mention 3 harmful insects. So I expect that by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to state 2 useful insects as well as 3 harmful insects. Let's first look at some of the harmful insects, some examples of harmful insects and what they can do that makes them useful to us. Some insects like bees and butterflies help in the pollination of flowers. Some insects like bees and butterflies help in the pollination of flowers. And what is pollination? When we say pollination, it is very important because it leads to the production of fruits we can eat. So if you are taking tea, instead of putting sugar in your tea, you can as well put honey in the tea, and it will serve as the same as putting sugar inside your tea. And then we can also use honey to make cream or body pomade. After bathing, I believe you apply some cream to your body, and honey can be used to manufacture body creams. So the bee also produce honey for human use. So you can see that the bee is very useful. They are responsible for pollinating flowers, and they also produce honey for us to use. Other helpful insects are also the ladybug and then the praying mantis. The ladybug and then the praying mantis. How are they useful? Normally this, if you see on your screen, you can see the praying mantis here, and you can see the ladybug also here. And how are they useful? Farmers grow plants that naturally attract the helpful or the useful insect to eat other insects that destroys their crops. So normally some of the insects also destroy things. And if you have a farm, some of these harmful insects can visit your farm and destroy all your crops. As well, some of these insects too are very useful, eating that insect that are capable of destroying the plant. So insects like the praying mantis and then the ladybug also eat other insects that destroys plants, and it saves the farmer the cost of going to buy chemicals to destroy these insects. So some insects also help protect the crops of a farm. Some insects are also eaten by humans, and an example is the locust. I believe you are surprised. How can insects be eaten? The last time we met, we said insects are the smallest of all animals. But if you look on the screen, you see the animal locust, and then you see a very nice meal prepared with the insect locust. If you read the Bible according to Matthew 3 verse 4, John the Baptist on the wilderness was eating honey and then locust as food. And all these food are coming from what? Insects. The locusts that we see on our screen here have high protein and then iron content in them. They have high protein. And according to science, the protein that the locust contains is about 75%. So some of the insects can be eaten as a meal. If you look on the screen, you see a nice meal there made up of what? The locust. So some insects can be eaten. Maybe you don't like eating them, but when you go to other parts of this country or some parts of the world, they feed on some of these insects. So these are some of the useful insects that we can talk about. Let's look at some of the harmful insects. Harmful insects. We have looked at useful insects. Let's also look at some of the insects that are dangerous to us or our properties. The deadliest insect in the entire animal kingdom is the mosquito. That's the deadliest insect in the entire animal kingdom is the mosquito. Why are we saying it's the deadliest? Because mosquito can kill more than 700,000 people every year. Mosquito even started killing before even COVID-19 and Ebola and the swine flu, the bird flu came. Insects like mosquito, they are very dangerous. And if it has started raining, water will be collected in cans and any open place. So make sure you always clean your environment to avoid the mosquito biting you and in the end getting malaria. Malaria is painful, very, very painful. And you will normally have swelling around the stung area. So if you look at the image on the screen, just look at the image on your screen. You see that this person has been stung by a bee on the mouth. And look at how swollen the mouth is looking. Just look at it. So the bees are very dangerous and their stings are very painful. So even though they are useful to us, they produce honey for us and then also pollinate flowers, they can also sting you. And at a point in time, if you are not lucky and you are being attacked by a swarm of bees, they can even kill you. So the bee as a useful insect is also a harmful insect as well. Another harmful insect is the housefly. Housefly. We all know the housefly. They are normally found in our homes. That is why we call it housefly. And houseflies can spread diseases such as food poisoning and then dysentery. Food poisoning and then dysentery. When we say food poisoning, how can the housefly bring about food poisoning? If the housefly settles on a poisonous substance and the housefly moves from that poisonous substance and settles on your food, the housefly can transfer that poisonous substance onto your food. You will eat it and then the unexpected can happen. What about dysentery? It's a type of disease that normally attacks your large intestines, and the result is that you have a running stomach. You will run and run and run until you become dehydrated. That is, you lose so much water in your body. So housefly can spread food poisoning and then it can also infect humans with dysentery. They also contaminate food, as we say, and then also rest on surfaces by defecating on them. So to avoid this harmful insect, always make sure that your food is always covered. Don't leave anything that you will eat just open, because the housefly can transfer diseases from other places, and then when it settles on your food and even defecates on them, the food will become contaminated. You will eat that food and you may fall sick. So make sure you cover any food. Even if you are eating and you are going to fetch water or get some water to drink, make sure you cover it, because they are found everywhere. Especially when you are eating mango, you don't invite them, but they invite themselves onto your mango. So make sure you always avoid them. Another harmful insect is the termite. It's the termite. As you see on the screen, you see the animal termite. Termites can also bite, and this bite can be painful. If a termite bites you, it's like you were even cut with a knife. Blood will be oozing out profusely. So termites are also dangerous to humans. If they bite you, it's very painful, and if you are not lucky, you will lose a lot of blood. If you look at the image on your screen, you see two sharp teeth here. If they use it to bite you, it's very dangerous and painful. Termites are also dangerous because they destroy wood. Termites destroy wood. Termites destroy wood. So if you are not lucky, they can destroy all the wooden pillars of your house. Your chair might be there. You might not know that termites, or the chair is infested with termites. You will sit on it one day and it will all scatter because they have destroyed the pillars of that chair. So termites are also dangerous. Now we have another insect called bedbugs. Bedbugs. And in Fanti or Chi, some call it sonkonsio, or some also call it imprukai. Bedbugs are very dangerous. They suck human blood. They suck human blood. And where are they found? Look at the word bedbugs. they normally infest your bed. They are very, very tiny, as we talked about the other time. Insects are very small, and they can multiply in their numbers within a short time, and they normally operate during the night. So if your house is infected with bed bugs, it's very deadly. You can't sleep because they will be biting you at night. If they get infested in your dress, you can't wear them. And how can we prevent these animals? They fear heat. So make sure that if you are infested with these bed bugs, you wash the clothes with hot water, or you put your mattress or bed sheet in the hot sun, because their constant bite can result in skin rashes. So bed bugs are very dangerous. They suck human blood, and they can multiply in greater numbers within a very short time. They are very difficult to get rid of. If you have been infected with bed bites before, or bed bugs, they are very difficult to get rid of. So make sure, if you have that problem, make sure you wash all the dresses with hot water, and then you dry them in the hot sun. Another harmful insect is the locust. We talked about it as a useful insect because they are part of the insects that can be eaten. But here are they again, like the bee, they are also harmful. They are not harmful to humans per se, but they can destroy the leaves of a plant. Locusts can destroy a whole farm. They can destroy a whole farm. So they are very dangerous. Locusts are very dangerous. They can destroy a whole farm. Even though in some parts of the world, the locusts are eaten, but they are dangerous because they can destroy a whole farm. So today we looked at useful insects and then harmful insects. Let's go over our lesson. In talking about the useful insect, we talked about the bee and then the butterfly. And these insects help in the pollination of plants. And we said that during pollination, or with pollination, it helps the plant to bear fruit, and out of the fruit we can get more seeds to germinate, to produce that particular plant. We also talked about the bee producing honey for human use. And the honey can be used for soap, for medicine, and then we can also enjoy our bread with the honey. And some insects can also be eaten. Example, like the locust. And with the harmful insect, we talked about the mosquito that can infect us or give us the disease malaria. And as we said, malaria is one of the deadliest diseases that even in Africa and the world we are fighting against. So if you don't like mosquitoes to disturb you as a deadly insect, make sure that you always clean your environment and do away with every stagnant water around your homes. We also have the bed bug that normally get into our bed sheets, our mattresses, and then suck our blood during the night. We also have the termites that can bite or sting humans, and if they bite you, you lose a lot of blood. They are also responsible for destroying the pillars of wood of any structure we have at home. We also looked at the housefly that can contaminate our food by defecating on them or giving us dysentery or food poisoning. The locust also destroys our farm. They just eat the leaves of the plant, and you know that plants need these leaves to prepare their own food because they trap sunlight for photosynthesis. So if they eat all the leaves, they have killed the plant. We also talked about the bee being a harmful insect when you are being stung by it. And if you are not lucky and you are visited by a swarm of bees and they all stung you, you can even die. So today we looked at useful insects and then harmful insects. Let's take this homework. 1. State 2 examples of useful insects. State 2 examples of useful insects. 2. Mention 3 harmful insects. Mention 3 harmful insects. Make sure you do the assignment and make sure you get everything correct. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson for today. We started last week by looking at insects, some examples and some of the features, and today we have looked at some of the examples of useful and harmful insects. Those that are deadly to us, make sure you avoid them so that you will not suffer at their hands. Thank you for enjoying the lesson and see you next time. Bye.